Hello and welcome to an episode of Jabba in the Hut. I am coming to you straight after the Celtic Midget-land game, or Midget-land Celtic game, as I've just watched it. You know, it is what it is. Celtic fans across the world have probably been thinking to themselves like, this is it, we're back, yay, it's going to be great. And it has been great. It's been fantastic to get the two games won and underway. I feel like it's not completely the management's fault in this department. Again, it comes down to recruitment and strategy and how we were playing. I think in this game, I think Midget-land are just they're just a far superior team. Their press was fantastic. They didn't leave us alone all game. It's just one of those games where you can generally see that I think the main thing to save here is the league. I think you need to kind of focus on that situation. Now, as much as I want Celtic to improve in Europe, I think this season is just a complete blunder. I don't think we're ready for European football at all, with the players that we have at the disposal. I mean, to me, I feel sorry for Sriracha a little bit because I feel like I would have started him instead of Tierney. I feel like Tierney's still got issues, which I hate to say because I do love Tierney, but at the end of the day, I felt like he was a little bit nervous at the back. I feel like we kind of played that formation with Tierney in it because we thought we were maybe going to go to Midget-land and defend a little bit, but I think that was the problem because Midget-land's offensive attacking style of play was just far too much for Celtic today. I genuinely think Midget-land could have beat us at least about 7-1, like a Dortmund result, you know. But that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily blame Sean Maloney or Martin O'Neill for the tactics used because again you're playing against a team that's top of the Europa League. You're not really going to. To me personally, I wasn't really expecting much. Maybe a draw I was expecting, but at the same time, you know, we lost and that was it. You know, certain things kind of annoyed me in the game. It was just how the midfield just couldn't really find a pass, and McGregor couldn't find a pass. Negrin couldn't really go up the pitch and support Kenny. Kenny was just. It wasn't his greatest game, but you know, it came good for us in the Rangers game. I can understand that in the semi-final. He came good for us there, and I give him all credit for that. But I just don't think he can be up there by himself. I think if he's holding it and maybe trying to bring the midfield in, which there was none of because the midfield was sitting way back along with the defence. I noticed that as well. Like our defenders were way back. We couldn't get into like the final third of that midfield because just Midget-land were just far too strong. They were just. It was. I'll be honest. We're watching a really impressive Midget-land side here. They were really good, and that Froccolino, whatever he's called, he is going to be something special. I could see him in the Premier League at some point. So, starting from Kasper Schmeichel, not a good performance. Saved us a few times, yeah. But I would say some of the things that were happening, I don't really think he was that good today. I think he maybe put. It was hard, but again, it was hard for him to find a Celtic player because the Midget-land midfield were just far too strong. I mean, I didn't really realise that Billing was in that midfield, and I think Billing's a fantastic defensive midfielder. He's just solid. He's got calmness. He's played for some really big teams. It's just amazing that Midget-land have got him. And that little Chilean player, Osario, he was good as well. He was just rampant. But I mean, you have to think about it this way: we're playing against Midget-land in their own turf. Of course, we're not going to have an easy game. Absolutely, of course. So I'm not too disappointed. I'm not too angry about it. I just feel like it's one of those games that have kind of brought the feeling down a wee bit and made us kind of realise that there's still problems behind the scenes and there's still problems with how we need to strengthen. And sorry, I just want to see something up there. There's still things that need to be done in this Celtic team to make it stronger. For me, I think the main priority is a striker in January. Because Scales, Trusty, Tierney, and Ralston, he's a great servant, man, but how long is he going to be there? How long is he going to be there and just fulfil that I'm just going to step in role? It does me nothing, because he has a couple of good games. I was surprised that he wasn't suspect in the Rangers game, to be honest, even though he gave that penalty away, but he actually had a solid performance. And then we come to Midget-land and it's just so slow. It's just the way that we're thinking about things is just so slow. You can tell that we do miss Alistair Johnston on that side. Really, really tell. When we're playing in Europe, because it's just, again, it's just so slow. I don't know if maybe he's knackered because he's played too many games. Like, he's played 2 games in a winner. And I remember when he played for Ange Postecoglou, I thought he was the greatest thing ever. I did, because he was just passionate and he just loved it. And he still is. But we need to kind of think to ourselves, like, I mean, is he going to be the guy that stays there forever? Like, you know, we just don't know. Anyway, yeah, I thought he had a torrid time today. Really, really bad. The midfield, Callum McGregor, again, couldn't put a pass. Engels couldn't put a pass together. You know, you've got Negrin, who just couldn't support. You've got Kenny, who just couldn't do anything. You've got Forrest, whose back was just to go all the time. You know, it's such a change for Falkirk and such a change from the Rangers game when he came on. It was just, I just don't know. I don't know why we dropped Maeda, to be honest. I mean, we could have had more of a chance if Maeda was playing in the first half. I don't know why we dropped Maeda for Forrest. I've no idea. I don't know if it was maybe just to kind of bring him on when we're knackered, like keep the fight and keep it 0-0 at half time and then bring Maeda on in the second half. I can understand that, but I really felt like we should have started with our strongest lineup tonight and tried to go for it. But again, it's a Martin O'Neill tactic, isn't it? It's if you're going to play, try and get 1-0 and then try and, you know, save the game by just defending all game. Which, you know, I think for a style of football today, I think it can work, but then sometimes when the stronger team gets the 2 goals up, you could tell that was a strong team tonight just for the tactics we were playing. So yeah, I think definitely we need to think about this in January. So yeah, Celtic fall 3-1. What do we take away for the game? We take away the fact that we need recruitment. We need to strengthen. We need to maybe think about the right manager that's coming in. I'm not saying Martin O'Neill, you know, to go away or anything like that, because I love him. I think he's great. He's steadied the ship since he's came in. We've only lost this game. You can't expect him to win every game that he comes in, especially Sean Maloney as well in the backroom staff, because it's generally a new backroom staff. But I think, yeah, there's definitely a need for strength there. Definitely need for a right-sided midfielder. Definitely a need for a striker. Definitely a need for a centre defensive midfielder as well, because McGregor's playing that position, but I really don't think he likes it. I don't think he likes playing that position anymore. I think he wants to be more offensive. Again, but he is in his 30s, So usually when you're in your 30s, you kind of sit back a wee bit and just dictate the play from the back. But I think what we've seen against Rangers was McGregor back to his best. And then we see this game and he kind of gets spun out a wee bit. There's just that nervousness today, or tonight in this game, and it just didn't sit too well with me. But I can understand why. Because again, Midget-land are top side. I keep saying that. So yeah, I feel sorry for Callum Osmond, obviously. He came on and he was like the bright spark, won as a penalty and stuff like that, so that was quite good. But then, it's just the way this Celtic team are now. They're just unlucky. There's hamstring injuries all over the place, and usually that happens when you don't really play much football. You know what I mean? So yeah, where do we go for here? What do we talk about now? We can talk about Brendan Rodgers, we can talk about the board. At the end of the day, we're just going to repeat ourselves, aren't we? We are still focused on letting the board know our feelings and what we want them to do next. And that's obviously maybe sack a few of them. Because let's be honest, you're not going to get rid of Dermot Desmond unless you pay half his shares. And I don't know how in the right mind will touch that. Especially with the fans maybe not paying as much for like tops or anything like that, or merchandise. It's not a poison chalice the way TNT Sport were making it. If you listen to that after it, oh my god, man, my ears were nearly on fire. They were basically they were saying that the fans were really, really raging, which we are, but we're not raging at the world. That's the way it was sounding. And it's funny when commentators even say like Celtic really needs strengthening on TNT Sport. But again, we need to wait in January. And if a new manager's coming in, you need to at least give him a chance to get half a team. And players that he wants in. I just can't believe the difference in Midget-land as well. Like a couple of seasons ago, people were beating them, no problem. And now it's just taking them a couple of seasons to basically get up and running, get a few players in with big names. And, this is what I'm talking about. They're going to leagues and getting Chilean players and Senegalese players and Brazilians and stuff like that. I don't understand what Celtic are doing in the transfer market. I don't understand why they're so weak. Why the recruitment options are so low, and why they keep dipping into a market that Ange Postecoglou was in charge of 3 seasons ago. I just think it's so out of date. It's one of those things where I really, really, really find it frustrating how other teams can just go and get these magnificent players for leagues and then coach them up and make them brilliant. I don't know if Celtic are doing that. I've no idea if they're doing that behind the scenes. But if they're not, then what are we doing here? Why are we even trying to qualify for Europe if you just want to be domestically good? Anyway, again, like I said, wasn't expecting a good result tonight. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Wasn't expecting a good result tonight. 3-1. We could have been beaten worse. But if you go back and listen to TNT Sports, apparently we were pumped. Apparently. Don't get me wrong, the stats probably say it all, but it's only 3-1, so shut it TNT. Dicks. Anyway, remember, doing something means everything. It is Friday tomorrow, which is the start of the weekend. Make sure you're doing something amazing. And when I mean amazing, like gone out. I've just had one of the weeks of my life, by the way, and it was stressful. I was going to greet at one point, and then it just got better and then better, and then better, and then shite because of the Celtic result. But tomorrow is a brand new day. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to run for at least 50 minutes on a treadmill. And then I'm going to do a cross trainer for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to go on the bike for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to go to the toilet, shit my breeks, and go home, get a shower, and then go to work, and then go out for a pint. Yes, my friends, tomorrow is pint day. Because I done the UCAS audit and I need a pint. Anyway, if I see anybody tomorrow night, you're welcome to come join me wherever I may end up. You need to be obviously of age to drink, because I want to drink. Yeah, if you fancy coming out and having a pint with me, just give us a wee shout. I will be around Hamilton at some point. That's it. For probably the 3 or 4 people that watch this. But anyway, yeah. Doing something means everything. Stay positive, guys. It will all come good in the end. And we have to believe it will. Alright. Anyway, see you later. Have a wonderful sleep. And have a fantastic weekend. Okay? Catches. On to Kilmarnock. Come on. Let's get us all against them. Come on. Monacells.